Hey folks, welcome back to part 14 of manual testing series. In this video, let's talk about the different levels of software testing. So it is one of the most important topic in software testing basically. So let's get started. So coming to the different levels, the levels of software testing involve the different methodologies which can be used while we are performing the software testing. Okay. In the software testing, we have four different levels basically, okay, which are very important. First is unit testing, integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing. So these are the various levels of software testing. And most importantly, first unit testing will be performed, integration will be performed, system will be performed, and finally acceptance will be performed. Okay, this is the hierarchy how it goes. Let's talk about each of the testing. Okay, like unit testing, different levels of testing. Let's talk about it now. So, coming to the unit testing involves the testing of each unit or an individual component of the of application, software application, sorry. So basically, here I have three different modules, say, okay, amount transfer, view statement, RDFU. So in this case, I will first perform whether amount transfer is working fine or not, because that is the one different component, whether I'm able to fill in all the details on the amount transfer page. Okay. So that particular individual component I will verify. And next view statement, whether the transaction, whatever is made after that, whether I'm able to view the statement or not. Okay, this I will verify as a individual component, not together. First, I'll perform, transfer, and then I'm verifying it. So it is two different, you basically modules. Basically, what we can say is two different modules. Each of the module, I'll be verifying whether that particular component is working fine or not. It is the first level of functional testing. The aim behind unit testing is to validate unit components with its performance. Okay, the main aim is the unit testing is to validate this particular unit performance is, I mean, basically the working is fine or not. What happens? Why do we do this? Is basically when developers develop the application, right? Because they have to make sure that that particular whatever they have developed is working fine or not. That individual component is working fine or not. Okay. So this unit testing will be performed by the developers. The particular individual component, how it is working. They will verify it as part of the unit testing. A unit testing is a single testable part of a software system and tested during the development phase of the application software. So, as I mentioned, so developers will perform this unit testing, and you have to think in a way that first one module will be validated. For example, login is a different component. First you will see whether the login page is working fine or not. You are able to load the login page, and whatever the components that is designed, okay, whether it is displaying or not, all that you will verify as part of login screen, the particular individual component. In the same way it comes to the different other modules as well. Purpose of unit testing is to test the correctness of isolated code. A unit component is an individual function or the code of the application. Okay, basically here we verify the correctness of the code, whether whatever the developer has developed, whether it is correct or not. The basic correction they will verify. When it comes to other different type of testing that we will be performing, okay, this is the testing which developers perform. White box testing approach used for unit testing and usually done by the developers. Okay, basically they will run in their local and then they can check, right? So also white box testing is where they will check the code, how the code is. Also, they will verify whether the correctly they have written it or not and how it is working. All this will be tested as part of the unit testing. Coming to the integration testing. Integration testing is the second level of software testing process comes after unit testing. In this testing, units or individual components of the software are tested in a group. Okay. In unit testing, each of the individual component we tested. But here, there will be an integration between one and the other module. Okay. What happens is, um, suppose say I will perform the balance transfer. Okay. Once the balance transfer is done, I can go and then I can check the statement. Okay. I can go and I can check the statement. So it will be updated by then. In the balance transfer, I can just see the balance transfer is working fine or not. But here, after the balance transfer is done, I can come and see in the statement whether the new record has been updated or not. In the view balance, I can also check whether the amount after the transfer is done, the amount is updated or not. So there will be an integration between each of the module here. The focus of integration testing level is to expose defects at the time of interaction between integrated components or units. What happens is when we integrate two different components, the chances of defects will be more. Okay. Uh, what happens, suppose in the case where I perform balance transfer, but it is not updating the statement? That is an issue, right? So, because this needs to be updated, and if the balance is not getting updated, or the balance after that, the calculation is not properly happening, so there could be such scenarios or defects that may come up. So, for that reason, testing is important, and we testers will do this integration testing. The goal of integration testing is to check the correctness of communication among all the modules, okay, or whatever the related modules are there, or the dependent modules are there, that we can check whether they are working properly or not, whether they're communicating, or how we can say whether they're correctly been integrated or not. Okay, all this you can verify as part of the integration testing. Coming to the system testing, which is a third level of software testing level. System testing includes testing of a fully integrated software. Okay. System testing is a series of different type of tests with purpose to exercise and examine the full working of an integrated software computer system against requirements. Okay. So system testing is nothing but we can call it as an end-to-end testing. Why? Because in integration testing, we will check the two different modules, right? Whether the integration between two modules is happening properly or not. Here, what happens is whether the integration with the whole system is working fine or not. For example, let's imagine you are in a Amazon website and then you want to order a product. Okay. From starting to end, what you will perform? So you will search for it, and then you will choose the product and then add it to the cart, which is a different module. Once after you have added it to a cart, you will go and check in the cart. Okay, that is a different step. And after it's in the cart, you can either delete, remove, those scenarios you can perform. After that, you want to buy the product now, so you will click on the payment. Okay, and it will take you to the different module, which is the payment module. And after all the details you fill in, then it will go to the payment gateway where you can pay it. So there will be an integration between, there are different levels, modules. Okay, so this comes as an end to end, one particular scenario from starting to end you have performed. So this is where system testing comes in picture, and this is called as system testing, where there will be an end to end test. To check the end to end flow of an application or software as a user is known as system testing. Basically, how it happens, basically, first we will develop an individual part and then test it. Okay. Then we will integrate it between two modules and then we will check whether it is working fine or not. And finally, what we will do is system testing, where we will perform end-to-end testing and see whole of the application, whole scenario is working fine or not. Okay. All this we will verify as part of the system testing. We navigate through the all necessary modules of an application and check if the end features or the end business works fine and test the product as a whole system. Okay. And also you can perform different scenarios and then check whether the end to end tests are working fine or not. So that is where system testing comes into picture. One whole scenario you can say. Okay. Final stage is Final level is acceptance testing. So here unit testing was performed by the developers, integration and system testing performed by testers, and then who performs this acceptance testing? Let's see. The last and fourth level of software testing is acceptance testing, which is used to evaluate whether a specification or requirement are met as per its delivery. Whatever the requirement is there, is that working fine or not? It is being developed as per the provided requirement or not, will be verified. The acceptance testing is also known as user acceptance testing and is done by the customer before accepting the final product. So, UAT, first we will perform our testing in SIT. Okay, SIT is System Integration Test, and then UAT is User Acceptance Testing. So, in the user acceptance testing, the customer will perform the uh, verification basically. He will validate whether the application is working as per the requirement or not. Okay. And he will give the final approval before it goes to the production. That is where acceptance testing comes into picture. Generally, UAT is done by the customer for their satisfaction and check whether the application is working according to the given business scenarios, real-time scenarios. Whatever is expected, is it working as per the requirement? And then his expectation is met or not, he will verify and give the approval. What happens if you have ever worked in service based companies? You might have heard about this frequently, more frequently. What happens is there will be two different companies working here. So one is the client company and another is the one who provides the requirement. So they are the client and then the another company will be there. Happens now the client will come to one of the company XYZ and then they will provide their requirement and then ask them to develop. Okay. Imagine there is a service based company XYZ. Okay, and these service providers, they will develop and then perform all the testing and then they will show it to the client or the customer. So the customer is the one who gave the requirement, right? So they have confirmed whether it is working fine or whether it is as per their requirement or not. Is it satisfying for them or do they need any changes? All that they have to validate. That will be done as part of the acceptance testing. So this is all overall acceptance testing. So hope you understood the different levels of software testing, which is unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. I hope you have learned something in this video. If you have liked it, please do like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.